why are you guys doing all this, John? Why are you making these podcasts? Why are you making these videos? Why are you exposing all of these things about William Branham, especially when you could be exposing the Catholic?
I said, I can't remember now if it was the first series of questions or the second, that we got a slew of personal questions. Often what happens is people will, if they come in contact with something that makes them uncomfortable, one of the first questions that they ask is, what do you believe now? What church do you go to now? And it's always trying to shift the focus from the people away from the subject matter to my person. And I've learned over time, Charles, it's a game I don't play, because it doesn't matter. I could be, who knows what I could be, the biggest hypocrite in the world, if the information and the research itself is 100% undeniably proving the fact that this was a false movement, which it was. It doesn't matter me. It doesn't matter my person. I could be whatever. I could be Roman Catholic, which I'm not. And interestingly, many of those people, they follow up with a second question: is the Catholic Church paying for you? It's so funny. I mean, if people had any idea the amount of time and energy I focus into trying to help people, they would never ask this question. But I did allow this one. This is a question of personal attack, but I did allow this one because this is important to me. And I feel like it's something that we should address. Why are we doing this? Why do I continue? I would rather be doing something else, Charles. Baseball, or I like boating, I like fishing, I like my musical instrument. There's so many things that I would rather be doing than this. But if we don't do this, Charles, who else was in a position like you and me that could even do this, right? There are people who left a message, and I'm not discrediting any of that. There are people who left a message, and they're actually more powerful in helping people out of the cult than anything that I do, because their focus is to help people out of the cult. My focus has never been that. My focus is to document what happened, because I'm one of the few who knows the inside story. My family was at the top of this. I want to document what happened, and I want it to be a beacon to the world that says, there is danger in this water. Do not swim. The majority of people who were in my position, because I'm not the only one who is at the top of this, the majority left quietly. They let it go. They knew that if they were to be outspoken, they would get bullied, which we mentioned it in the finale episode. I was bullied. Instantly. My uncle spread around the world it was either the third day or second day that I'd left the message. As soon as he found out, I had an uncle that was very high ranking in this cult that spread that I was homosexual, because homosexuality in this cult is it's a mark. You're marked and people won't listen to you. And it was highly effective. There were people that, whether they believed it or not, I was marked. And none of it was true. But the family heavily pressured me. I also mentioned in the finale that after we started attending a new church, men who were the henchmen of the cult used to come to that church every Sunday, and they would just watch us walk in the building. And it was harmless, right? They're just watching us, but that was pressure. They were trying to intimidate us. That's what it was. It was an intimidation strategy. So when people ask me, why do you do this? Well, the why is easy. I do it to document what I feel like I can document, and a lot of people can't, because I know it. Why not attack the Catholic Church? I don't know the Catholic Church. I was never in it. The Catholic Church, as you know, as research indicates, the Catholic Church has a lot of skeletons in their closet. There are a lot of things that they have done that is not only questionable, but some of it is purely evil. But if you read through the archives of the Catholic Church, you're going to find where they have documented their own history. And to a large extent, the Catholic Church is actually reformed. This cult erases their history. So for the Catholic Church, I don't need to document it. You can go on Wikipedia and you can find the Catholic Church and you can find its critical history. This cult, until I began my research, Charles, you know this as well as me because you researched, even on Wikipedia, everything was whitewashed initially. There was not a single critical, there were some critical things, but there was not a single critical research of William Branham and the healing revivals and the message that was prominent enough to gain attention. There was a lot out there, but it was all just kind of sliding through the cracks because there wasn't anybody who was in a position such as me who was with the people at the top to know. So why do I do this? I do this because who else?
I think that's a good answer, John. And, for me, why I do it, I care about the people in the message. I love the people in the message. They're my people, right? And here I am, John. I'm over the halfway point of my life. I am set in my ways. I'm content with my lifestyle. I'm probably never going to change as far as any of that stuff goes. And I'm, as far as the message lifestyle, I lived the message lifestyle better than almost any other message believer I knew. A lot of them, a bunch of hypocrites, but I still live the message lifestyle better than a lot of them do. But, I love the people in the message, and I want to help the people in the message. I left the message not because of any problems that I had along that way. I left the message when I found out they were lying to us about the midnight cry and the shout and the thunders and the seals opening. I found out that was all a hoax, and they was lying to us about it. That is really what made me quit believing the message. And, when people like me and you, John, leave, right? I was content to go away very quietly, and that's what I did for over a year. I just left quietly. And maybe all of you message leaders who are listening to this, you can take down some notes here. It might help you when other people leave. If they had just left me alone, I would have went away quietly. That was entirely my plan, right? Because that's the trade, right? You let me go quietly, I'll go quietly. You don't let me go quietly, I'm not going to be quiet. So if I have to live with months and years of harassment, well, God have mercy. I might as well just go ahead and start telling the truth about you people. And so that's exactly why I have done it. They haven't left me alone, so, I'll just, what's the point? I feel like I have some obligation to tell the truth, and the only incentive not to is the fact that you might be able to live in peace without them harassing you constantly. But if they're going to harass me constantly, I might as well tell the truth about them. Right? And so that's really it's a very simple logic in my head. So that's part of why I did all this, because they're not going to let me live in peace. Well, fine. I might as well just tell the truth about them. So there's that aspect of it. And then I love those people. Those are my people. Those are the people I want to help, and they already know how bad the Catholics are. I don't need to tell them about that. But they don't know about their own problems, so I'm telling them the things that they need to know. And if they don't want to listen, that's okay. I still love them anyway, and they're fine people, some of them. But then the ones who care, that to check it out, well, here it is for you. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I love the people in the message. They are my friends. They are my family. They are my only friends. They are my only family. So who else am I going to help if it's not the people that I care and love about, right? So there you go. That'd be why I'm doing these things.
Yeah, and you mentioned that had they not bullied you, you probably would have went away silently. For me, this was a roller coaster. When I left this thing, it was an absolute roller coaster of ups and downs. And it was so traumatic for me. My memory has blocked a lot of it. So it's real hard to remember every single hill and valley in the roller coaster. But I will say that I do share that. Had they not bullied me, I probably would have just walked away. I did disagree with some things. I had some questions, and at its surface, for me, the biggest problem was he simply wasn't a prophet. And they're claiming that he was, but prophets of God don't have failed prophecy. And I had some questions about that. Well, they tried to suppress it for me. They tried to not just suppress me, but they wanted to suppress this knowledge to the whole general cult. And when they attacked me in the way that they did, it made me realize that something was wrong, and that's what sparked me into this research and digging. I have to know what's wrong. I have to know, well, what are they hiding? I'm curious. Why, if they're hiding something, why are they hiding it? So I had to dig deeper, and it morphed over time. Like you, I loved the people in the cult. I wish every single person in it could be free, especially the children, man. It even today, it breaks my heart to see children growing up in this, because there's this period of time where ignorance is bliss, and as a child, you're happy and, nothing seems off or wrong, but suddenly, as you turn into adult, you can watch the people, even visually. I don't know if you've noticed this after leaving, Charles, but you can see the rapid rate in which people appear to be getting older in the cult because they're so burdened down. It's wearing them out, and it breaks my heart. So there was a period of time in which this happened, and I'll go a bit deeper than I probably should, but also people tell me falsely that I'm this brave individual who has conquered mountains from being so brave, and I can assure you it wasn't that. As I was going through all of this, I've mentioned it in various different places in our podcast, but I was going through some severely traumatic issues and severely problematic health issues, and I thought I was dying. And so as I was, leaving this cult and I was reconciling what had just happened to me, I thought, well, they're lying. The world needs to know. It needs to be documented in a way that in the future, after I die, anybody can find it. And if I'm going to die, I'm just going to go out with a bang. and then I didn't die. I don't know if it was because of, like I mentioned, people in the cult, they age a lot faster and more severely than people who were in normal Christianity that teaches the gospel. After I left, things just suddenly started getting better. And I don't know if that was just psychologically or there were some actual health issues that did get better. Medications that I was told I'd have to take the rest of my life that I don't take any longer. And after leaving the cult, it just simply got better. And the pressure, the fear, the burden of fear that they place on you, it's kind of like this next question that we're about to get into. The fear was a crippling fear. And there were things that were taught that just are so wrong and so weird and should not be even mentioned from a pulpit.